check it out. I've got knee guards. Still a little bit of detail needed for these. They have spikes on them, and they are conical in shape. I'm not sure I can build a conical shaped spike in foam. I may do square spikes. I hate to skip the spikes because spikes on your knees, it just means, hey, I'm a bad dude ready to break it down and be a villain. So I like that aspect of it. Now these knee pads, these knee guards, they do have a nice curve to it. And basically I cut each side of these just like that. I cut it like that, glued it together, and you get that shape. And you can see front to back how that works. It is a good shape. Now I do need it to curve back a little bit more, kind of like that. And what I will end up doing is just putting some crash foam in there, folding these in place, gluing it, because you can heat it, but it's gonna want to flatten back out. You do need the crash foam inside to help keep shape. Heated just won't work. I am working on the shin guards. That should be relatively simple. Got to figure out, how to score it, how to get some carbon, because I like to do it each half. But so it would, if this is the front of the shin, this is the back. You're out at the heel. It comes in below the calf, goes back out. So I need to figure out exactly how to cut the foam to get that shape. And I've done that in multiple pieces, not all in one piece. I mean, it's foam, it should be relatively easy, but I need to figure that out. I need to put some detail on this. I do think I will just do the square spikes. There's no way I can do conical, not in foam. I mean, not and have it look good. But it is great to finally see some leg armor, just because for the past like 4 days I've been saying, man, if today I can get to leg armor, that would be great. That'd put me on track. And not that I'm off track. I still feel really confident I'm on track, but it's just nice to actually see some leg armor in reality instead of in concept. Tomorrow I want to start painting. I may start on the helmet and cuirass and all that stuff. Start painting that just so I'm a little bit ahead and I'm not waiting all to them, because painting, got to paint it, let it sit, dry, and that'd help me just expedite the process. Get the base coat of Plasti-dip on there and wait a day, get the base colors, because I got to Plasti-dip, then I'm probably going to do burgundy next, then the silver. So that's Plasti-dip, wait a day. Burgundy, wait a day. Hammered metal, wait a day. And then I can start weathering it. And so what was that? Plasti-dip, you got to wait a day. Then the burgundy, you got to wait a day. Then the silver, you got to wait a day. So it's 3 days. So if I start, I mean, that's a lot of downtime and waiting. So I can start painting that while I'm working on other stuff. That's going to expedite the whole process. Otherwise, if I wait to the end, I'm painting all this stuff, I'm waiting on all of it, and I'm going to get nothing done. Whereas if I get it ahead of time, it's all about the process. It's doing the math in my head of painting and processing and finishing, and I realized I need to start painting the upper half stuff I finished right now. Right now if I'm going to finish. So I'm going to get started on that. Most of the stuff I've heat treated, but basically to heat treat foam, and you heat it, it just helps the pores of the foam close up, seal up, so you're absorbing less paint. Because you don't want to spray and spray and spray paint on this as it just soaks all up. You want it to stick to the surface and not be absorbed by the surface. And all you do, you just use a heat gun. You want to get it rolling. Oh, there is my extension cord. Oh, he's got an extension cord. And what you're going to do is when you put the heat gun on it, you're going to see it kind of darken and change color. That's it. You see that difference? You just want it to darken a little bit. You can see that difference. It just heated up a little bit, and that foam is just sealed, and it's just going to absorb the. It's going to absorb the paint less. And so from there, I'm going to Plasti-dip everything, and I heat all edges. I go a little bit on the inside. Sometimes the entire inside. You might as well. Why not? And I will get every surface. And once it's cool, which this is already pretty much cool, I will paint it with Plasti-dip. That's just a rubberized undercoating. I'll let that dry a day. You need to let all your paint dry a day. I mean, you could try to go quicker, but you might run into some issues. Now, with this one being a lot of stuff being multi, I mean, most of the stuff is one color. The helmet is all a pewter color. Gauntlet's all a pewter. The belt is all a pewter. The only thing I'm running into that's different colors it's going to be the leg armor and then this cuirass. So this cuirass is mostly pewter, but all these little inside areas, like see the white and orange, what on the base cuirass, what is not white and orange is burgundy. Same with the back. Most of the stuff is silver. Got a little bit of burgundy. I'm going to paint that burgundy first. So I gotta Plasti-dip it, wait a day, paint the burgundy, wait a day, spray I've got the hammered finish pewter color, which is kind of a silverish color. Wait another day before I weather it. And weathering is my black enamel paint. I wipe it on, wipe it off, so you get kind of cracks and crevices that will not wipe away. I don't want it to wipe away. I want it to look a little grungy, a little dirty. I want it to look like this guy's been in some battle. And some of the imperfections on the armor, I may create some imperfections before I start the weathering process. Actually, I need to start thinking about the imperfections now. If you want to put any bandle damage or like sword cuts or slashes or anything, you gotta do that now, which I need to think about that. I need to see, because I already thought I would, now I'm like itching to paint it and get going because I got so much to do. But you're weathering, and like on the edges of these spikes and on the horns, you know, you want to do like just a little bit, kind of dry brush and silver, just hit that edge a little bit so it gives you a little highlight. And then I'm done, but I need to start painting this stuff now. And so I've just finished heat treating what I can, the leg armor. If I can get some of that done tonight, I'm gonna try to paint it tonight, but I don't know. I just, the knee guards are in this state. I've got to score some lines on here. It's got some like bolts and stuff. I think there might be a top edge to it. I don't know, so I may not get to that. But that, if I put that farther down the line, because the leg armor, I mean, I might just cheat and do that burgundy. Sometimes, you know, I say wait a day in between paint. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes you're just under the gun and you go for it. You hit that burgundy, you wait 30 minutes, you spray that silver, and you hope for the best. And so it may be a combination of that. The only issue with not waiting a day is if you can't tape off. If you wait 30 minutes, you can't tape off for the silver and the burgundy. So that's been an issue. And sometimes with that, I'll just like hold a piece of, I have a spare sheet of paper. I'll just hold like a piece of paper to that edge I'm painting. I'll just hold it up there and I'll spray it real quick. Ain't the best job, but again, if you're under the gun, that's what you do. So I've got some hooks in here. I don't paint my shop because I don't want paint on everything. I paint outside. Even painting outside, I wear a full paint suit, gloves, mask, glasses. I have the hood up. I mean, I don't want paint on me. I just don't want to breathe in paint. So I'm going full out even though I'm outside. And so I'll spray it outside, let it hang out there for usually about an hour. I've got some hooks outside. Once it's hung for about an hour, usually after an hour, it's flashed, sometimes 2 hours. Check paint canvas, usually an hour or two. I'll bring it inside and I have some hooks around the shop that are kind of out of the way that I hang all this stuff and let it cure fully for tomorrow, the next day. So that is it. I will say, I love when you Plasti-dip it because everything is completely black and things they look mean when it's all black. So that's going to be kind of fun. I am on my helmet. I've waffled back and forth. I cut this lower jaw off. Do I leave it? Do I not? I'm going to cut it off. You know, the reference photos have no lower jaw. I mean, if we're going to think about it logically, if you're wearing a human skull as a helmet, you wouldn't have a lower jaw because it's just, you know, you'd have to like wire it up. There's a lot of trouble. And if you're the kind of person that wears a human skull as a helmet, you're not going to go to trouble to wire the lower jaw in to create the mask. So I'm going to cut it off. That means I'm going to just glue in a filler panel that is pretty much reaches the bottom of the mask and just goes right there just to cover my chin. Because I don't want you to see my chin. Man, I keep things private. And I'm gonna take a razor blade. I'm just gonna cut right on the bottom of these teeth. Take it out. Put a panel. I'm just gonna glue that panel here. Run it all the way around. Glue it here. I'm gonna have it run just behind the teeth, like butting the teeth. And I'm just gonna spray that same color to everything else. I may leave that black when I spray the silver, just so you know. I don't want to highlight it. You know, I want it to be hidden, so I may keep that black and tape it off when I do all this other stuff. That is it. That's where we are, man. Look at this bad boy. Look at it. Oh, it looks good. It's like I'm looking in a mirror. Love it. Would it have been easier if I decided to cut this lower jaw off before I glued the skull in place? Yes, it would have. That's the risk you run when you save decisions for later. It just makes things a little more difficult. No, not like it's like crazy difficult. This is some crazy hardship, but it is more trouble than it would have been if I just made the decision right off. Because if I'd made a decision from the beginning, lower jaw, darn. If I'd made a decision from the beginning, I could have roughed it on the bandsaw and then used a razor blade to kind of fine cut it. As I did, I just roughed it out with a razor blade. Now, fine tuning. So I want to kind of trace those teeth. I don't want it to look like I cut it. I want it to look like these are actual teeth. So I'm going to kind of, you know, scallop around those teeth so that it looks a little more legit. But here it is. The mouth is gone. And so, you know what? Seeing that, this is the first time I've seen it. Things look a little different when you see them in the camera. Oh, that looks good. So here is the issue. I mean, you can kind of see my chin, so that's why I want a little panel. Yeah, can you see my chin? Yeah, so I just want a little panel right here. Oh man, I love it. It looks so much better without the lower jaw. A lot more than I ever thought it would. So I'm just gonna put a panel. It's gonna be right here, just boom, like right in there. That's gonna look good. Oh yeah. So it was the right decision. I wasn't sure. Wasn't sure if it was the right decision. Definitely was. All right. I don't even, like, what do you even do with that? You know? I mean, I guess you're just trash. I need to get this panel in. Need to get glued in. Need to get this outside. I've got hangers and all kinds of things. I need to get this stuff painted. Man, that looks good. And that panel, I am gonna leave it black just so. Oh, I love it. I love it. I just barely caught the last of the light. Got the cuirass, the helmet, the gauntlets, the little glove portion of the gauntlets. All that painted. Was there anything else? Oh, I forgot the belt. The belt's right here. I just saw on my desk. I gotta paint that too. Oh, the sword. Oh my gosh, I thought I was done. Because the light is going down, so it makes it difficult to paint when you can't quite see everything. One trick though, it is fall weather, a little cool. I use the heat gun on the lowest setting, and let me be very clear, be very cautious. I use the heat gun on the lowest setting just to heat the paint can a little bit, because when it's cold like this, the paint doesn't flow. You want a little warmer, so the paint flows better, you get a better paint job. I mean, I've painted sometimes in the weather, and I don't recommend this. This is not a good finish, but the weather's so cold, I just have a heat gun in one hand and a spray can in the other, and I'm going with a heat gun, heating the paint cans as we go, because it's so cold that if I don't, it's just going to sputter, because that's the way it works. Yeah, I thought I was done painting, gotta go back out. Just saw the sword. Well, you know, could I do it later? I could. Well, not the sword, maybe. Because the sword's got my pewter gunmetal color, and I need silver for the blades. I need that differential. I don't even know how to hang it. And the sword actual like grip part. Well, let's have to do the sword in one half and the other half, because there's nothing that you can't sit it down, you can't hang it in the belt. I mean, I still have to do all the leg armor. I'm working this out on the camera. You're seeing my little hamster on the wheel walking very slowly. I think I at least need to get the handle of the sword painted, because since that's going to be multicolored. Never ends. I just, I was trying to hang all this stuff up and completely forgot about that stuff. Fresh off the paint, at least dry. It's been painted long enough to be dry. Look at how mean that looks. Whenever I paint the costume black, I always think, man, I should just leave it black, because look at that. That looks so mean. I mean, imagine dressed up in this costume where it's all black, just this flat black color. It'd be crazy. But I've got to make it the colors of the reference photo. I got to go the whole way. But man, it's just an all black. Look at that thing. Oh, it looks so good. So when you're wanting pieces to curve, how do you know how to cut that curve? It's pretty easy. Just, what do you want this piece to look like in profile? Really, that's a good guide of how you should cut it. So when you round these pieces over, this piece, when I round it over and connect it to the next one, it's going to have this profile. So that is the way to do it. Now, something I've noticed, I had to get new contact cement. I got the same brand, was this DAP, Weldwood. And I've noticed that I've had to put 2 coats of contact cement on the foam, because one, it just doesn't have the bond. And I don't think this is a situation where they just don't make it like they used to. I think what it is, you have glue and it's in a solvent. That is the contact cement. The solvent is what makes it liquid so that you can spread it onto a surface. When that solvent flashes and evaporates, you have just the glue, which when you make these surfaces, they stick. So I'm thinking my old contact cement, I've had it for 3 or 4 years. I think enough that solvent had evaporated to where it was more glue than what you get in a new can. So when I was putting on one coat, there's more glue in that one coat than there is now, because this is more solvent, because it hadn't all flashed away. So I think that is the situation. It is a little annoying to have to do 2 coats. I've tried to do some thicker coats, and even that doesn't quite work. It really seems to be put on a coat, let it dry, put on another coat. And the reason I don't like it, I take more time. You know, 1 coat, I'm done. 2, twice as much time. You know, I'm on a deadline. I don't have time for this stuff. But what are you going to do? Because I need this stuff to stick, and stick well, because otherwise the whole costume falls apart as soon as you take your first step, and that's no good. Look at this wonderful calf and shin and leg armor. So you can see, this is the back profile. You got the heel, it curves in, the calf. Looks great. Now you can see this thing does not want to hold its shape. Why? Because I need to curve it and then add the strips on the inside to help keep that curve. Because while you could put Velcro and some straps and get it to kind of hold shape, it's always going to want to open up. So your Velcro is always on the risk of just snapping open and your leg armor falling off, which is what you don't want if you're walking around. So I'm going to, I don't know, maybe I think 2 straps, maybe kind of like right where my thumbs are, front and back. That should hold it in place. Because you still, even with the straps, you got a little bit of flex, but it'll hold its shape much better, which is what I want. I want it to pretty much be in shape without having Velcro. And then that way when I Velcro, I know it's going to hold, otherwise it's going to want to pop open. So I'm going to cut my straps, I'm going to put them in place, and then the knee armor really should attach to the shin armor, and just, let's see the orientation. So you'd have the knee armor just attached to the, where's the front? the front just like that. Is that right? Yeah, like that. It'll go right there. So I want to glue it to it. And then I don't know how the thigh armor attaches. I mean, it might just sit above and kind of hit on this, or just hit above my knee. I don't know. That's why I want to put all this together, so I can kind of figure out the interface between that. Is this right? This is right. This actually should be the other one, because this tab is on the outside. So it'd fit something like that. So I wasn't sure how much to curve this knee part. So once the calf is done, and I get the straps in there to where the shape is right, then I may add some straps to this to get this to curve back more like that. So I add all the detailing, but I don't want to start adding detail until I have all the shapes together, because what if I don't get that detail before I run out of time? Or at least I have the shapes together. You know, you gotta look at the big picture, and that's what I'm looking at. This is not the part I love. I'm taping off, so there's a lot of burgundy parts in this. I'm taping all that off because I did the hammered metal texture for the silver metal bits. I don't want the red. You know, I like the difference in texture. That means I gotta tape all this stuff off, and I don't love that. And especially the cuirass, it's all like, I've got all these little rib pieces that are covering it up. So I'm doing a bit of a rough tape job, but, you know, I'm kind of thinking that with the weathering, it's gonna be rough. And there's certainly gonna be some dirty, gritty areas of this costume where there's black, because, you know, getting the black paint that I'll use to weather in and out, that's gonna be its own little trickiness, because there's just, it's tough to reach. You know, I'm reaching around these little rib structures. I'm reaching out. It's just, I'm not having fun. This is not fun. But it is all part of the process. And I thought about, you know, kind of just spray the silver and then tape off the silver to paint the red. But again, I don't want the hammered metal texture in the red. You know, I want a little bit of a difference in texture. So I'm doing the front, gotta do the back. Luckily, the leg armor has some red and silver. I thought about maybe just, you know, hand painting the red in here. And I'm not sure that's gonna be all that much quicker because again, all these little rib structures. So I'm gonna tape them off, paint it. And I may do some touch up, brushing it by hand if I have to. Definitely kind of see where I missed some spots, because this cuirass, especially, there's over under all these little areas. You never see some spots I missed when you look under. But luckily, nobody's gonna be looking at me from this angle, so I'll be okay. But I gotta take this out. You can see that's what I've done. Still got the rest of the front to do, the rest of the back, and then I can spray things over. Luckily, the gauntlets and the helmet. The helmet, I just had to tape off the chin piece. It's black, so I wanted to keep that black so the skull really pops, the teeth pop. Things I got to get painted tonight so I can keep the process going throughout the week, so I can actually, hopefully, be done in time. I've painted the silver. Now, I don't know if this is the worst taping job I've ever done, but it's probably close. You can see, I didn't really get close around that. I find taping off very time-consuming, very annoying. And I realized as I was taping it, I can't really spray this, because to spray it, I need to move these little spikes. I mean, everything's behind it, so I think my plan now is, hey, that piece is coming off. Look at that, right there, it's coming off. It'd be very difficult to even spray this. I think everything you see that's black, I will hand paint. I thought about just leaving it black, but the problem is that it's such a bad job taping off that you can't even leave it black. Look there, pulled a piece of the rubber and foam off, because what I should have been doing is using a pick like this to get the tape off. I just looked at it, like, oh, let me start getting the tape off, started picking at it with my fingers, and of course, I messed it up. Awesome. I really do like the texture that the hammered metal came out of. You see, that got a little weird little run right there. I don't mind. I just look at it as all battle damage. I got my best finish on the helmet, because that matters the most. Check that out. Really like that finish, that hammered metal. Just, you know, I've painted things silver before, and I felt like I've had to weather it. I will weather it just because I want to see some gunk in those grooves. But I really like this finish. It's kind of uneven. It's mottled. That's always what I want. I hate just these flat, simple finishes. This came out really well. I have not completed the leg armor. That is in progress. You can see the back of this. Didn't tape anything off. So I'll have to, you know, paint over all that. But that's okay. It does look really nice. I just need some burgundy in there to get a little bit of, you know, difference. A little bit of contrast. But it is looking more and more like a thing. Part of me's thinking, can I just wear it like this? Can I just be like an Oakland Raiders type deal? Are they Oakland? Are they LA? I don't know anymore. I'm done. I'm mentally done. Unfortunately, I'm not actually done, so I have to keep going. I feel like I need to at least do a little bit more, even though I don't want to. These are going to be the shoes. They're just going to be slip-ons over whatever shoes I'm wearing. That's why they are craft foam. I don't know if I'll need some kind of elastic. I'm thinking they'll just sit over and the top of the shin armor will hold them in place, but I'm going to make them basically like big old type socks. This is what happens when you have a dog as a helper. They make a big old mess. But he is having the time of his life.